Welcome to Nature Book Review, a video showcasing books on nature and wildlife. Relationship between insects and plant is one of the most intricate and complex relationship in the biological world. Insects evolved somewhere around 200 million years ago. And most of the plants, when dinosaurs were ruling on the planet, were non-flowering. In the Cretaceous period, that is in the last period of dinosaurs, the flowering plants emerged. The plants devised flowers. Now, the flowers are the genitals of the plant. It produces male and female organ and which helps in fertilization of the plant, propagation of the plant. Now, there evolved a relationship between insects and flower, which is probably the most interesting relationship in the biological world. The flowers, as you see, they are of different sizes, colors and shapes. Basically, the flowers evolved for pollination. The pollens, the male gametes, they go to the other flower and fertilize that flower. But what happens is, the pollens may not go in the direction the flower wants or the plant wants, because pollens cannot fly on their own. It depends on the wind. So wind cannot be always in the same favorable direction. So slowly, flowers or the plants understood that there is a free courier service available in the form of insects. So why not to call insects to me and carry my pollens to the other flower? So there evolved possibly the first bribing method by flowers. The flowers produce sweet fluid or a nectar. So insects, they got attracted to the flowers in search of sweet fluid, that is nectar. So insects land on the flower, they go into the nectary where the nectar is stored and they drink that nectar. Then they go to the next flower. Now in this process, they carry pollen from one plant, one flower to the other flower. Now insects do not do this deliberately. The nectary of the flower is located very strategically. It is mostly at the base of the flower. So when insect has to reach to that nectary, it brushes against the stamens and the stigma. Okay, so when insect brushes against them, the pollens get showered or sprayed on the brushed on the insect. Now insect when goes to the next flower, those pollens, they get transferred to the female organ or stigma of the flower. This is how cross pollination occurs. Okay, now self pollination, that is fertilization within flower, is not good for flower, not good for the plant, because it will lead to lethal gene accumulation and plant someday will die. So cross pollination is must, and this is carried out by insect. There are other different agencies, like there are birds, there are mammals, but insects are the major pollinators of the flower. Now if you see evolutionary chart, when flowers or the flowering plants understood that there are insects available, they diversified a lot. Before coming of the flowers, insects were there, so they were feeding on different parts of the plant. They do today as well. It's not only that insect feed only on pollen, only on nectar, but flowers called insect to them and pollination occurred. This is how we get fruits. Okay, so when you see evolutionary figure or a graph, you see that flowering plant diversified greatly by knowing that there is a courier service available. Okay, so there is a nice book on this insect flower interaction by John Brackenbury, a biological relationship, a very nice book. This is the book, Insects and Flowers, a biological relationship by John Brackenbury. You can see the size of the book is fairly large. It's not thick, it's hardbound, but it's not that heavy. Let's go through the book. So here you'll see a photograph of a bee and the author's name and the name of the book. This is a Blanford publication published in 1995. Let's go through the content. There are a few chapters. The first one is introduction, which introduces the topic. Then next is flower as a food source. Then next is the market for pollen. The next is flower types and their pollination, which talks about different sizes and shapes of the flowers. Then visual world of the insect. How do the insects see the world, including flowers? You know, insects can see ultraviolet rays, ultraviolet light. So flowers have runways by which insect can land on the flower, and these runways on the flowers, they guide insect to the nectary. Okay, then how insects see the flower, of course, and insects and flowers in a dry climate. So that is a separate chapter dedicated for drier climate. Then further reading, acknowledgement and index. You will see that there are a lot many photographs in the book. The chapters are organized very well. The text is fairly readable. You can see it is in the 2-column alignment. Also there is a right alignment of the text as well. So the chapter starts with the bold title. Okay. Here you can see on this page there is no text as such of the chapter, but instead you can see there are 3 photographs, and all these 3 photographs are very well explained here. So all the text which you see over here is the explanation of these photographs. Okay, and the photographs have been numbered. So likewise, this is a 35th photograph, so you have to see the description over here. Okay, very nice photographs, by the way, because the author has his prime interest in photography. So here you will see how the insects get laden with the pollens. Now insects do not know this. Insects don't do pollination deliberately. Okay, so I would say that flowers are using insects for their benefit. In a way, flowers are bribing insects to get this job done. And there's one so this is how insects see the world. This is the compound eye, and this is how insects see. They do not have very high resolution power, but this is how they will see in a pixelate form. Okay, so this is for the pollination in drier climate, and here is a praying mantis. So author talks about the flip side of pollination as well. Flip side as in flip side for the insects. So whenever insects land up on the flower, there are predators waiting for them. So they kill, catch, feed on insects. Okay, so amazing photographs with nice description. The book is not that heavy, so you can fairly lie down and read. And there are few other insects like this grasshoppers and other katydids. They also visit flowers, and there are mantises which feed on feed on insects. Okay, so here is the photograph. You can see how a bee has been caught up by assassin bug. So many times insect lose life. So here you'll see a spider catching another fly. And these predators, of course, they have a lot of camouflaging coloration. So the insects, when land on this flower, they just don't see that there is a predator. Anyway, so overall this is a fantastic book to understand one of the most intricate relationship in the biological world between insects and flowers.